Welcome back, and I'm excited to see you here. Last week we were talking about what employers look for in a CV, and today we're going to be talking about how to write a professional CV. And I'm joined by Paminas, as usual, who is going to take us through this process. Paminas, karibu.
Asante sana.
What are the key sections in a CV when we are writing a professional CV?
Key sections in a CV. So the way I look at a CV, number one, it contains your personal information.
Yes.
And when you're talking about personal information, all I need to see is your name. How can I contact you?
Yeah.
And yeah, those are the two. And in terms of the name, goes without saying, put your 3 names there, or as the way they appear in the national ID. In terms of contact, a mobile number and an email address.
Yes.
Nowadays, there's no even need to include a postal address, because rarely, when was the last time someone communicated to you through a postal address? Unless it's government.
Yes.
Most of the communication now is taking place electronically. Someone will send you a text, or they'll send you an email.
Yes.
So as far as that goes, those are the personal information. You don't need to include your ID number. I don't need to know your tribe. I don't need to know your height. Unless for some positions, for example, in the hospitality industry, they might request for your photo. So unless someone requests, that's the only time I would recommend you comply with the instructions.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next section is career profile, or career summary. So this is where you are trying what you've done, in no more than 4 sentences. Yeah. So, and again, I would look at it being at the top of your CV. So here, so I'm giving a summary. So if it's for you, you say a communication professional with 7 years of experience, and then you state what have you done. Yeah. So don't make it generic.
Yeah.
I'm sure we discussed this in the other video.
Yes.
So instead of saying I'm hardworking, motivated, all those nice things that people say in their CV, which they are neither here nor there. Because how do I know you're hardworking?
Yeah.
Unless I give you a job, that's the only time I'll know you are hardworking.
Yeah.
So then, if you are not writing those generic things, what do you write? Just write the skill set that you have. Yeah. So if it's for you, can talk about SEO, search engine optimization. You can talk about PR. Can talk about you're conversant with Google Ads. Obvious, you've done this video, you've done events, such kind of things. Yeah. So after there, let's talk about education.
Yeah.
So education, starting the most highest qualification, not necessarily the most recent.
Yeah.
So if you have an MBA, it will be number 1.
Yes.
Followed by a bachelor's, followed by a diploma, and then certificate. Yeah. And then if KCSE, maybe. Yeah. And then you don't have to expound. You don't have to know what in the undergraduate, what unit you studied. How? Because the assumption is anyone telling you, oh, I'm looking to hire someone who's done a BCom in HR. They already have an idea of what a BCom in HR entails.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the match, I would say, as far as education goes. Then after that, now it's the work experience. And for the work experience, the most important thing is tailor it to match the role. So I know if you look at the JD you are given by your employer, probably has 15 entries. So just put like 3 or 4 key ones, because you're looking at the key ones.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go and write filing, you don't have to go write report writing, all those kind of things. Yeah. So unless, obvious, if your job is admin, maybe those would apply. But for majority of us, just put the 3 or 4 key roles, and then I would follow them up with achievements. What did I achieve by each role? Yeah. And then the higher you climb in your career, you find it's the most 3 recent roles which are important.
Yeah.
So for you, Cynthia, by the time you get 15 years of experience, the internship you did for 6 months, you don't have to go there, detailing what it was and the duties you are doing, because all it will do to just make your CV lengthy for nothing. Yeah. After that, if you obviously experience, you'll have attended some training or seminar, so that's where I would put them. And then I would also put referees. Referees is also, it's a bit of, people say you shouldn't, others say you should. For me, for you putting referees, it shows, it's a sign of good faith. In the Western market, they don't, because they use a resume and not a CV. Yeah. So a resume, you're putting very few details. Yeah, so we are in different markets. In our market, someone would expect to see your referees.
Yes.
Yeah. So to say, in a nutshell, that's what a CV entails. And those are the most important sections.
Yeah. So when you're talking about these sections, how do you write a CV that stands out in all the sections you mentioned?
Yeah, I've given you some of the tips, but I would say, number one, I would look at the layout. Is it eye-catching? Is it professional? So the more you climb, obvious, the more you need to look the part. For example, there's a reason why a Mercedes looks the way it looks, and you can't compare it to the Pro Box, and both are cars.
The same purpose.
Exactly. A Mercedes is, it invites your attention. You want to look at it if you're in traffic, such kind of thing. So the same case. So also look at the layout, how is it? And here at Corporate Staffing, when we are doing the professional CV writing, we come up with a CV that if someone receives 100, yours will stand out simply because of the layout.
Yes.
But the layout is not enough, so you also need to look at the content. And like I said, if it's the career objective, please make sure that it's really, it tells a story of what you've done. Don't write general things which will not communicate anything. Yeah. So the more specific on the skills you have, the better.
Yes.
Yeah. Then in terms of work experience, your current role you should use the present tense. This is what you do. But in your past role, use what? Past tense. Yeah. So for example, your last role, you'd say arranged for meetings. So that's past tense. Arranged, because that's what you did. Yeah. Then like I said, it's very important. Unless you're a fresh graduate, there's no reason why you should send your CV without achievements. Yeah. And achievements, they're quite easy. Ask yourself, what did you do over and above what you were hired for? Yeah. So if you introduced something new right there, if you surpass the goals you were given, the targets, put there.
Yeah.
And you don't have to write 5, 10 things, just 2 things. For each role, I would recommend 2 things. And the best achievements or standouts are the ones where you either, whatever you are writing, either give a percentage or you give a figure.
Yeah.
So if it's target, you can say surpass the target by 3 million if you're a salesperson. If you're a finance, you can say I saved cost by 20% or something like that. So it paints a picture. Yeah. Remember, the work of a CV is in there. It's a marketing document. I don't know you, you're a stranger to me, so I'm relying on this document to determine, do I call this person called Cindy Awakeo? Yeah. So anything you can do really to convince this other person that you're a suitable candidate for the role, then go for it. Yeah. And in terms of CV, you can have a generic CV, a general one, but I would always recommend for each role, take time to edit to suit the role that you're applying. 95% of professionals make this mistake. I don't know what the hurry is to apply for these jobs, and that's why you keep, either you don't get to hear from employers or you keep making mistakes. But you'll find if you take some 15 minutes to tailor your CV to suit the role, your success rate will increase.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for those tips. And for the people watching us, I know we're going to be talking about CV and giving you tips for the next few videos, but we do have a service that helps you customize your CV to the role that you're applying for. Contact us. We'll leave a link in the description box. Reach out to us and we'll help you help you achieve a professional CV that can get you your next job. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.